Hey y'all, so today is Money Monday. You already know I'm back with another easy to understand financial topic. And today I want to talk about the number one thing that helped me to pay off $43,000 in 22 months, and that's budgeting. I'm going to give you all the tips that you need to know about how to budget right. But before I get started, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hey y'all, I just released my first financial literacy ebook, How I Became Debt Free in 22 Months. This is an easy, educational, and encouraging guide. I want you to check it out. It's only $5. Look in the link in the description box below and click that button. So I remember before I started my debt-free journey, I was tired of being in debt, but I hadn't quite made that leap to say, hey, I want to be debt-free, right? So I remember I would try to budget, just Googling, looking at things online, looking at the little Pinterest sheets. And then at the time, my job actually had a financial help service. So I even called them to learn more about budgeting, and the guy just sent me an Excel spreadsheet, and I suck at Excel. Excel is not my thing. So, I had dibbled and dabbled and played with budgeting. I also downloaded an app. I think it was the Mint app. And I tried to play with budgeting a little there, but I just did not quite understand the concept of budgeting and how I could make it work for me, right? So once I decided to become debt-free and I actually started reading about budgeting, the purpose of budgeting, which is so important, y'all. Before you budget, you need to understand the purpose of budgeting. It's not just to save money. It's not just to, do it because it's trendy. No, the purpose of budgeting is to make a plan for your money. So if that plan involves saving, if that plan involves paying debt, if that plan involves investing, maybe it's all three of those things. But the purpose of a budget is to make a plan for your money. And that was something that I really had to understand first before I could make budgeting work for me. Let's get into 5 tips that I'm going to give you on how to make budgeting work for you, on how to do budgeting the correct way, right? So first things first, you need to budget before you get paid. So I'm going to say at least a week before your pay date, you are going to go in and you're going to start budgeting for that next month, right? Now, or for that next 2 weeks, because I get paid monthly. So I'm always going to talk about, doing things once a month. But if you get paid bi-weekly, if you get paid every week, you're going to be budgeting as often as you get paid and before you get the check. Now, I know some people their money may fluctuate, right? For me, I'm salaried, so my money doesn't fluctuate. I know how much I'm going to get paid each month. Now, I still do kind of side hustle a bit in there, so that may fluctuate, but the basis of my pay is still the same, right? So in addition to, starting to plan for your money before you get paid, if your money is fluctuating, you want to look at what you made the previous week and you want to base it off that, or you want to do the calculations yourself and, try to get as close as possible. So if you have to do an estimate, try to get as close as possible. In addition, you also want to make sure that, you are kind of not going overboard, with your estimate. So, right, you kind of want to be on that lower end so that you can plan, for any mishaps that may happen. The next thing, you want to utilize a zero-based budget. What is a zero-based budget? That means that you are planning for every single dollar that comes in. Literally every dollar down to the cent has a name. So once you are done budgeting, what's left over should be zero because you are doing a zero-based budget. Plan for every single dollar. And let's say, that you're having a hard time planning for every single dollar, look at those areas that you're having a hard time with. Why are you having a hard time with those areas? Is it because, it fluctuates often? What is it? And then maybe, if let's say you have a sum left over and you don't know where to put it, hey, put it in your savings. There's nothing wrong with that. but every dollar has to have a name. When somebody asks you, what was the last 5 purchases that you made, you should be able to rattle it off like that down to the cents. When you make a plan for every dollar, you know where your money is going. So that was a previous issue with me before I started budgeting, right? I didn't know where my money was going. I couldn't tell you where it was going. That's the purpose of budgeting, so that you can know what's coming in and what's coming out, and you do that with a zero-based budget. Take out cash for your basic expenses. That is my next tip. When I say basic expenses, gas, food, let's say you have to go and pick up, a medication, things like that. These things need to be paid for in cash. Now, things like rent, maybe your electricity bill, those things that you pay online. Of course, you're not going to take out cash for that. But for those everyday, those weekly necessities, you need to be utilizing cash. For me, in addition to the budget, I use budget binder, right? Or a budget binder, basically cash envelopes. That is like top tier budgeting. Not only are you planning for your money, but you are getting your money in your hand, okay? And you are knowing where it goes. When I tell you, listen, when I start seeing my envelope get a little low, girl, I back up off that thing. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't really need that like I thought I did. It's important for you to feel that cash in your hand, for you to see where that money is going. Because if y'all was like me, listen, I just used to be swiping that debit card like a ninja girl. I didn't know where that money was going. You just swiping and praying. But when you have the cash and you see that cash leave, you be like, wait a minute. I might need to back up a little bit. Maybe I am, just going, a little over. And also with the cash envelopes, listen, y'all, every single month I have money left in my cash envelopes, because I'm telling you, when you see that money going out like that, when you put that money in somebody's hand, it reminds you of, that you work hard for your dollars and you don't want to spend it all. You want to save some, right? So utilize a budget binder. Be sure to click the video up here or here. I do have a video on how to utilize a budget binder. Now, you also need to write your budget down and look at it every single day, right? So if you want to go the old-fashioned way and utilize, paper and pencil, perfect. But me, I utilize an app. I utilize the Every Dollar app. They have a free version and a paid for version that will connect with your bank. You can use either one. When I was on my debt-free journey, I utilized the free version and it worked just well for me. Of course, there are other apps out there as well that kind of do like the same thing, but you need to have your budget written down. A mistake that I made in the past was that my budget was in my head. Girl, that means you ain't got no budget, okay? So if you trying to, calculate all in your head while you spending, that is not a budget. That budget needs to be written down somewhere, and you need to be able to access it at any moment. That's why I like the Every Dollar app, because I can just pull out my phone and look, right? Or if you have it written down, maybe you keep it in your wallet, and your wallet is always going to be with you. But you need to have some type of medium that you are utilizing to write that budget down, and you need to engage with it on a regular basis. Look at it, even if you already know what you're planning for, look at it every single day. That is so important, right? Because it helps you to remember, okay, here's what I put here, here's what I did there. And then what I like about writing a budget is that I can go back and look at my budget from last year around this time, to kind of see what changed, what increased, what decreased, so it's also a good thing to be able to go back and look at, whether you want to see how far you've come, or maybe you're trying to get an average of something, but you need to write down your budget every single time that you budget so that you can go back and look at it. Here's something else that I have seen, just people ask me and then questions in general about a budget as well. This is very, very important. Every time you're doing your budget is going to change, right? Maybe this next month is somebody's birthday. Maybe the month after that you have a trip plan. Maybe, you're going to need to just increase your groceries just a little bit because you got some company coming over. But your budget should be changing every single month. So don't get stagnant with your budget. Well, I know I'm making the same amount each month. I know I'm going to have the same expenses. No, things change. Whether it's something as small as, like I said, a birthday that comes up. But you need to be doing a budget like it's a brand new one every time that you're budgeting. And once you get into the habit of it, y'all, it's going to be quick. It's going to be just like this. I know for me, I budget with my eyes closed now, right? Because I've gotten in the habit of doing it. But don't become stagnant. every time you're budgeting, you are looking at you're going down the line items, gas, food, rent, whatever, and you are looking at those to see, hey, is this going to change this month? Is this going to stay the same? Am I going to have a new expense this month? It's very, very important for you to, do a new budget each time your income is coming in. And guess what, y'all? I am actually starting a new service where I am going to be doing some budget coaching. I'm going to be assisting you in figuring out whether you want to minimize debt, whether you want to save money. I'm going to be providing you with different templates, and it'll be like a tiered service. So maybe you just need, just the basics to get started. Maybe you need someone to help you twice a year, 4 times a year. Listen, your girl is here to help you with all your budgeting needs. So if you need a budget coach, drop down in the comments below, drop down in the description box, and click that link. I can't wait to work with you. Listen, we are about to be debt free together, okay? Bye.